So hey you guys, Shaqii, how are we? This video is going to be very different. I'm very excited that this is even happening right now. But I'm going to have my little chit chat, a little conversation with the most amazing person I've met, I think, throughout this whole pandemic. President of IdeaFirst company. I'm sitting down here with Perci Intalan. I'm going to have a nice little conversation. I'm so excited. I'm very excited. Oh my goodness.
NANI?!
Hi, Perci.
Hello, Shaqii.
Hi,
Thanks
how are you?
for having me.
Oh, well, I'm happy you're
I look
here.
forward to this. I'm looking forward to this.
Yay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, IdeaFirst company. You guys have created movies, content. I think what I've read, I think it was a span of 21 movies already. I could be wrong on that. Let's take it all the way back, 2014. What made you guys decide to come up with IdeaFirst company?
Well, I retired after a decade of working for my network, handling entertainment. I just said I wanted to do my own thing, and I've always been an employee in all my professional life, and I decided that okay, if I want to do stuff that I want to do, then I have to take the leap and start my own company.
When we started the company, when June and I started the company, ang gusto talaga namin, ang vision namin was to put artistry at the core of the business. Yun yung binuo namin, yung kumbaga, the heart na marami kaming artists within the group.
I said, okay, I'm gonna take my retirement money, I'm gonna start my own company, and I'll see how far this goes, and if it doesn't go well, then I'll just look for another job.
Right.
Fortunately, things started falling into place, and as I said, we started with movies. Fortunately, the big studios here, I've built a network, a good relationship with them in my professional life, so they started trusting me more to produce movies for them. And then a year later, June also decided to quit his network job and join me. So I suddenly have a creative partner. Before it was just me working, with whoever. But when June came in, then we were able to multiply the stuff that we could do. And June's first order was to start a scriptwriting workshop. It's a free scriptwriting workshop. Like, he did not ask for any money at all. In fact, he even paid for all of the accommodations and whatever. Everything was paid for. The food, people just came. But he did demand from the 20 people who joined that nobody can be late, nobody can skip a class. I'm giving this for free, so all I need from you is your full undivided attention. And the students from that class were Ivan, Ash, and a lot of the directors that are working with us now. So that allowed us again to expand and become even bigger as a company. So by the third year, we were, I'd like to say that we were quite a creative force already in the industry because of June, because of all of these writers who then became directors. And so we became recognized as the company that has all of these creative people. And I started managing a lot of them as directors. So I started negotiating deals for them, producing movies with them. That's how we came up with 21 movies. 23, actually, by now.
Okay. And I love the fact that you and your partner were behind this company. That to me, over here in the United States, is a big thing. Because being that you both are together, you're married, you're partners, you don't really see that over here. And the fact that it's a thing. You said something in the last reactors meet that we had that resonated with me, I think a lot of us when we were together, where it's almost like you're still going through the hurdles that a lot of people go through here, still having to find that you're single, still having to not acknowledge that you have a partner here. I think that was a crazy thing to hear because it's still a reality. So knowing that you guys are still doing it and still are strong in it, it's amazing. So, especially as an LGBT person myself, it's an amazing feat for me. So that's what I can say.
You know, a bit of trivia though. Before Idea First, June and I were actually competitors. We were
Really?
partners already. Yeah, but I was the head of entertainment for the third biggest network. He is the creative director of this, I guess, one of the two biggest, the second biggest network. And yeah, I mean, we go home in the same house. We're not allowed to talk about work.
Dang.
We're hiding stuff from each other.
Oh
You know, it's
no.
crazy. That was crazy. So it was actually weird when we started working together. Yeah, that was a bit of adjustment as again because we had our own ways of doing things.
Mhm.
And mind you, it was not easy at the start. It's strange. We had birth pains at the start where I was meddling in his creative work and he was meddling in my producing work.
Given all of that, now doing Game Boys, how are you? How is that? How is that transition from the television now to doing series? How's that?
Actually, it's the same. We've always wanted to do something for digital, but we never had the chance. Our company, really, my background and Jun's background is TV. We
Mhm.
spent over 2 decades working on TV already. So that's kind of our default. And then when we started the Idea First company, the whole point was to get out of TV. So we focused on film. We both started even when we were based on it, we're working on a TV network. We started producing some films already, so
Mhm.
we went full blast. So with the films, with the TV shows, we actually never really found the time to do something for digital until this pandemic happened, and we figured, oh, if there's a good time, this is the best time to do it, right? So the principles are still the same. I mean, you tell a good story, you tell it well, but the challenge is first is of course the budget because you don't have the huge budgets of film, you don't have the funding that you get for TV,
Mhm.
and you don't really get your money back immediately. So that was a challenge. And then the second challenge, as I've always been saying, is that this pandemic
Yeah.
made the whole production process very difficult. Mind you, it's difficult for TV and film as well.
Of
So
course.
there's no getting away from that. Right. So that's why, in a way, we decided to take the plunge because if there is a manageable, I guess, platform to do it on, it's here on YouTube, right? Because the duration is not set, the rules are not set. You know, it's not as competitive, I guess, because with film you're always compared with the previous film, with whatever film's coming out. In TV shows, it's the same, but on digital, the rules are sort of a bit more lax, and that allowed us to be more creative.
I've never witnessed a time like this, you know. I feel like with the pandemic, none of us really knew what was going to happen with like all of our shows that we were reviewing, reacting to, and things like
Mhm.
that. So you guys, over in the Philippines, I know with the rise of BL, you guys came at a really great time, an
It is.
amazing time actually. And I think,
Mhm.
if I remember correctly, this was earlier in the year. I want to say maybe closer to the summer when Game Boys came out. Um, that was kind of like the big rise for a lot of shows to start coming out from there. And I would say that you guys were to spearhead, from my personal opinion anyway.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and changing the game. I think I've said it so many times to you, but you guys really have changed the game with Game Boys. Now, speaking of Game Boys, the idea, how did that come about? Being that, yes, with the pandemic, but what else inspired that whole Game Boys experience for you guys?
Well, actually, bless Ash. He has always been the writer in our team that's been pushing for BL.
Yes, we see.
I mean, we've done LGBT content, LGBTQ content, right? I'd like to say that we would probably say that we specialize in it here in the Philippines because
Mhm.
we've done quite a few.
Mhm.
When Ash has been, well, actually, for wait, maybe last year or 2 years ago, Ash has always been presenting BL type stories, right? But
Mhm.
because you're focusing on film, because you're focusing on TV series, kind of marrying that with what producers and studios are looking for has become a bit challenging.
Mhm.
And I guess the time was not yet as right. No? But when the pandemic hit, it just coincided. I don't know if one actually led to the other, or BL would have been bigger already,
Right.
even without the pandemic, right? But it came. It came when Together was becoming big here in the Philippines, and it was reaching a wider audience than I guess previous BLs. So that inspired us. That okay, hey Ash, what do you have? Maybe let's revisit some of the stuff that you pitched before. It also allowed us to go into the right frame of mind where I must say, if you watch our films, the content that we do, they're a lot more, I won't say sophisticated, but a lot more mature, a lot more complex, I guess, in that the themes like Die Beautiful is about a transgender woman. Born Beautiful is about transgender woman and the whole idea of being polyamorous and being in love with multiple people and questioning yourself and that sort of thing. So when we started taking BL a bit more seriously, we decided to distill all of that and focus first on the basics, which is we want to tell a good love story, a simple love story, right? And then wherever the story allows us to go, we go. And I think that's what happened with Gameboys. I don't know if I mentioned that before in any interview, but I think some people did pick it up. The title was not Gameboys at the start. The title was Intimate, which is kind of an ironic title because you're not going to be together, right?
Right.
It was actually a nice title, but at the time, since I'm the producer and I'm also kind of more the marketing person, June went to me and said, "What do you think of the title Intimate?" I said, there's just something not sticking with me. And then I said, but, let's think about that. And then I read an article saying that there are two industries that are actually benefiting from the pandemic. The second is streaming,
Then,
last week. Yeah.
right? But the first is gaming.
Nakikita ko, kaya magpapenta.
So I said, I went to June immediately after reading that article. I said, I think I've got it. Make them gamers, right? I said, if we situate them as gamers, they kind of replicate the whole, the trope that, you've got the jocks in some BL, right? There's always the rock star. There's always the jock. We replace all of that. We put them in a gaming world, and that makes them rock stars in a way.
Yes.
So that actually put everything in context because the characters started as gamers. Then there was a natural way to meet.
Because gaming has really been a thing that a lot of kids have been doing, a lot of adults have been doing since, I would even say, before the pandemic, because we have streaming sites like Twitch and all this other stuff, and it's really, really fun. So I love that you guys actually took that and threw it in there.
Right. So it all started falling into place after that, I think.
Being that with you guys had Cocoy de Santos, Elijah Camas, Adriana. So I love these characters and these actors and actresses that portrayed them. The casting process, meeting them, getting the right people to play the right characters, was that a difficult process for you guys?
Well, we were blessed because Kokoy, Elijah, and Adriana were they're part of the team. So we knew we had these. We knew we had a gold mine in these actors and actresses. We just needed the right characters and the right story to put them together. Adriana, mind you, was not really supposed to be a big character. Pearl was not really supposed to be that big. She was supposed to be an ally. I mean, she was supposed to help the story progress, right? But when we saw how big the reaction was, we knew that she had to be a bigger character. And this is maybe the bit of trivia. You notice that we announced Pearl Next Door very early. We did not have a story yet. We didn't have anything, but it was June that said, let's announce that she will have her spin-off series. Why? Because we did not want you guys to be waiting for her story within Gameboys, because she is not designed to be a lead character in Gameboys.
Okay.
Right? So by I guess planting it with you guys that she will have her spin-off, it allowed you guys to be more patient, and in wanting to find out more about her. Because otherwise, if you didn't, you'd all be clamoring like, we want a story for Pearl, we want her to have a love life or whatever, right? As Game Boy is ongoing, and that would have derailed the Game Boy story itself, right? So that was actually intentional. Casting, I guess the first major casting that we did was for Terrence. And for Terrence, we did not have anybody in the team yet that fit the role. So we looked at, and we did not have the luxury of holding an audition. So we had to look at guys we auditioned before. And fortunately, because we did a lot of movies, and our producer, Jen Maurice, is quite diligent in filing all of these auditions, we were able to dig up Kyle's audition. And that's how we reached out to Kyle and asked him to read again, this time for Terrence, and it worked.
One of the biggest things that you guys incorporated was the pandemic. You guys did it so effortlessly, amazingly great. If that's the main things that's been in my head since meeting y'all and talking to you guys and watching the show. I think it was around episode 7, 8, 9 is when like it really just took a hit to everyone, and a lot of kids were like really, really sad given all the everything that went on. But I love that you guys did that. You took what's going on, threw it in our faces. This is real.
That was always part of the plan.
Yes,
when the story started coming out, when the story was in development, we all knew we wanted to situate it in the pandemic, because our philosophy now is that I think people need to understand how serious it is, even at that time, because people were always going like, "Oh, things are going to go back to normal soon. No, this is just temporary." But June and I, having gone through about a month and a half of it, started realizing that this is the new normal. I mean, it will take a while, so we better embrace it, and we better help explain it to people, that it is possible to have a life in this pandemic. It's possible to find love.
When his dad passed, a lot of folks did take that to head because they've experienced that as well too. So thank you guys again for including that, because you did touch a lot of lives.
Actually, our production team experienced that at the start of the pandemic. Sadly, we lost a colleague very early on, and it was a devastating blow, and actually was quite troubling, because we witnessed him finding out the news, him deteriorating, and also being afraid for ourselves. And then he passed away, and then another friend of ours passed away, and then soon enough, you started seeing all of these posts on social media about somebody who lost a family member, who lost a friend, and asking for prayers. It's actually been constantly, I guess, in our faces. So there is no denying. June really wanted to do episodes 7 and 8. And we were gearing up for it as early as episode 3, I think. It's like, how do we take this very light story to something very possibly depressing? But it has to happen.
And it's that thing about like showing people what's going on, and you kind of have to deal with it kind of situation. It is an uncomfortable thing, but the more we face uncomfortable things, the more we realize, hey, this is real life. And I'm very happy that you guys included that. What was the most challenging achievement you have had with IdeaFirst thus far?
Well, every year there's always something challenging. But now, I dare say Gameboys is the most.
Play.
You think it's a small show on YouTube, but it actually took a lot more out of both me and June than anything we've done before. Anything. We've done movies that have been, we've been locked on location for 3 weeks where there's no signal, and we had to cross rivers and carry stuff physically, and that Game Boy still beat that. We've had movies where we had problems with the casting, we had problems with the funding. We almost did not finish the film, blah blah blah. It went over budget, but Game Boys is still bigger than that. The difference is that we're all very passionate about Game Boys, but we're still a small team. It's a lot smaller than our normal team.
Mhm.
So, and coupled with all of the restrictions of movement this pandemic, we had to maintain a small team. Like I had to physically deposit checks to each and every bank of each and every person because I did not want them to go to me, get a check, and physically go to each bank because I actually multiply the risk. So I said, I'd rather be the one to deposit checks myself so that it's only me that's going to be exposed, if ever, right? So, I mean, stuff like that I did not do before. June would actually wait for the edits, do his own comments, and then actually rewrite a lot of the stuff. June, as I said, would write the subtitles himself. I mean, before this was a bigger team that will be doing this, but we had to take it upon ourselves. And it also cost, I mean, I must say, it also cost a fair bit of tension because there's also the factor that everybody's at home,
Yeah.
right? So everybody's just going stir crazy and you're stuck, you're under a lot of pressure. And especially the production team, because I don't join them as often, but they have to sit there in a Zoom meeting from 7 a.m. all the way 12 midnight, right? Filming these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, it gets to you after a while. But at the same time, that's why the Gameboys team is so close. Because you're literally, I mean, this is open for pretty much 24/7, right? So if somebody yawns, somebody decides to sleep, you just be yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why they got to know each other a lot better.
Oh my goodness, that's wild though, because it is a whole different ballgame when it comes to shooting a show like this. And after hearing and seeing Elijah discuss how he had to kind of set up everything himself, but still be on and ready to go, that was wild. So I haven't seen any other show. I think after you, I think the other shows that have been released have been kind of following suit, which they kind of have no choice now if you want to still, make something and produce something. So
I think they're doing it. They're doing it a bit differently. I think they're sending crew over because I must say, I mean, I do talk to a lot of producers of the other BLs because I know some of them, and I've been telling them, look, what we're doing. It's not easy. I mean, I can describe it to you, but I cannot predict what problems you will encounter. So I had a long chat with the producer of Hello Stranger at the start of their production. And we were just bemoaning about, oh my God, what we're going through. It's like, because, it's like, this is so unusual. Why are we even doing this to ourselves?
oh boy.
And so when they started encountering technical problems, they go like, yeah, I feel you. And then there's another producer that I actually just reached out to and said, just hang in there. Remember, we're not saving lives. So if you don't make it to air, don't kill yourself trying to make it to air, right?
Right.
Take your time. Always remember to be safe. So it's actually quite an informal support group.
I mean, mind you, with Gameboys, if everything was all things being equal, this should not be a difficult show to put together in time to premiere. But what we do not have under our control is the amount of time it takes to upload things because we can't physically send stuff to each other, and the internet is not always as stable as we hoped it could be. So those delays actually domino. That's why we have episodes. You did not see this, but maybe you noticed, right, that sometimes we premiere something 5 minutes before the actual premiere. Like, what's the point of premiering something 5 minutes before? We had one where we clicked premiere and immediately the countdown started. We were that close.
Premiere, yeah.
Yes. And we're like, this is crazy. And I saw the comments like, what's going on? Like, they clicked premiere like 2 minutes before their actual premiere. And then, of course, episode 13.5 that didn't even make it to the premiere. Right. I mean, these things are actually all technical problems. It was not a creative problem. The creative problem was actually doing episode 11 so close after we wrapped up episode 10. So that was a creative problem. It's like, okay, how much time do we have to shoot the stuff that we need and all of this, that thing. But everything else was technical, and how I wish that we could just predict how quickly it is. So when you ask, like, how long does it take? Oh, it takes longer than we think. It's the answer. But like June would always be, on our backs and say that, look, guys, we came from networks, right? We know that deadlines have to be met. We know that schedules have to be met. We know when you say something is about to air, we make sure it airs. So I don't understand why we can't make it to air. I'm going like, yeah, but there's a pandemic. And then he, of course, knows that's the answer, right? But it's still, somebody has to crack the whip.
Yes.
So in our team, it's always June. So and actually it's good because that's why for 13 episodes we actually still did make it to airing, and then the 13.5 episode we didn't.
And yeah, I mean, you may not think that you're changing lives with these shows, but yeah, I think in most cases you guys are, because it's stories that we're not used to seeing in our faces here, probably in other parts of the world. So yeah, I'd say so. I'd say you guys are changing many lives, actually.
Well, we didn't realize that then. But yes, thank you to all of you, especially you guys, reactors, because you were the first that really talked about the show and talked very openly about your own experiences. And then we see all of the posts on Twitter and on social media about their own experiences about Game Boys, especially after episode 8. It was episode 8 that I guess opened the floodgates for everybody to share their own stories, and that's amazing. So I'd also say, if you ask me what the most fulfilling project we've done so far, it's also Game Boys.
The ecosystem that you've brought up before, the first time we actually got a chance to speak, between releasing the show, waiting for the reactors to react, and that's that whatever else it was. What was the reasons for openly including the reactors in the ecosystem of Game Boys?
That was not intentional, I must say, because Game Boys, we just pretty much, as soon as it was ready, guys, let's just take a leap and just put it out there, because we don't know how people will react to it. Like if it's a bomb, then let's not do more of these, right? Or if people hate it so much, then let's tweak it, but let's just put it out there. So that's why May 22, people were surprised, like, wow, there's suddenly something that's up there. We didn't even know how to premiere anything. I mean, you were that bad.
Oh,
Like, how do you upload something on YouTube? Like, okay, just put it out there, right? And then somebody pointed out, you know what, you can premiere the thing. We're like, oh, you can't do that. Oh, is that how the subtitles work? Oh, you're not supposed to burn it in. Oh, okay, I get it now. It's weird. We were so green. I mean, we are not a tech company, and we don't have an IT team. Obviously, we don't have an IT person within the team, right? As you can see with all of our, Zoom conferences. But it was that. So when you guys started reacting, there were a few reactions already. Not within an hour, but within a day of the first episode. And I think your reaction came in about Monday or Tuesday or whatever on the first few days. We were really, literally waiting for feedback.
Really?
Because we didn't know how much of these we're going to do. We didn't know what episode 2 will be like. We had a story, but we were prepared to junk it all if you guys didn't like it. So we were really listening. We really read all of the comments. We read the tweets. Maybe we wish we would have started the discussion a lot, controlled the discussion a lot more. But we were just so knackered about just finishing the thing and putting it out there. Like nobody, like, oh, okay, what are we supposed to do now? Let's read. Oh, somebody's supposed to give a hashtag, right? We put too many hashtags in the YouTube description. Like nobody knows what hashtag to use. It's stuff like that. So we kind of learned along the way, and you guys actually allowed us to find our footing, both creatively and also by just taking your lead. Like, oh, some of the guys actually premiere their reaction videos. How do they do that? So like, oh, that's how they do it. All right, good. So it was crazy.
That is so wild.
So we did learn a lot from you. We did.
Hearing the backstory is just like, oh god, that sounds like me when I first started doing YouTube videos.
Yeah. You think we would know, right? After first one movie, we would know what to do. No.
Oh, but that means that being that you guys had to literally adjust to your new environment, and it's almost like I heard this quote somewhere. It's amazing when you take something organized and you make it look improvised. And I think, giving with the whole idea with the pandemic, no one knew. really. We kind of just
Mm.
saw this. And I don't even, wait a minute. Yes, I do. I put a poll out there because I wanted to know what other shows that you guys wanted me to react to. It was a choice between Another BL and Game Boys. And the overwhelming number of people want to give us like, okay, I'll give it to y'all. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but you guys were already on episode 2, and the episode 3 was going to come out that Friday. So I was like, okay, I'll put it out the Monday, see what happens. And the amount of
Oh yeah, it was episode 2 that you reacted to.
yeah,
Yes,
it was.
yes,
I
yes,
reacted
got
to
that.
episode 1 and 2 in one reaction video,
You on reaction video, yeah.
and the amount of support and the amount of response I think I've gotten from that one reaction to the show was overwhelmingly amazing. And that's why I would say this show has actually changed a lot for me as well too, because I was doing Thai series first, and to you this was my first Filipino series that I've ever done. And oh boy, the fans, everything has just been really, really crazy. And I am beyond proud that I started doing it. So, oh my God.
Can I just say that I always get a kick out of you saying you want to come here and
I
this is
do!
the Philippines. I mean, that's honestly, Filipinos love that. Filipinos love hearing it, and I'm no different. Every time you say that,
Well, because
it actually makes my heart jump.
yeah, you get a chance to learn about the culture. And I think once Game Boys was started, once we started reacting to it more, the family grew. My own personal fan base, the Love Shack family, we've grown, and I've met a lot of Filipino Americans, Filipinos. We talk almost every single day, really. Half of them send some questions to ask, and learning the language low key and certain phrases. It's fun, and I cannot wait. Hopefully, with the pandemic, I needed to go away because I need to come to the Philippines just to experience it.
Yeah. Please come. We'd love to show you around.
Yes, that sounds amazing to me. Oh my goodness. Okay. And do you think with Game Boy Season 2, I think the fans will enjoy it or anything like that? Does that bring a little bit of nervousness to you guys?
Oh yeah. It does. I guess it's better when we were starting from scratch. There wasn't this pressure. Like, okay, the worst that could happen is people don't like it, and we get like 10 views, and that's it, right? We can survive. But now we have a benchmark already. Now we know how much people will watch at the premiere, and so that is a lot of pressure. I mean, episode 13.5 was a lot of pressure already because we knew going in that we did not have Kyra and Gabriel, and I had the amount of stress that I was in when that came out. I mean, if you notice, I actually could not tweet as much in episode 13.5 as I did with all the past 13 episodes, right? Because I was so worried that you guys would be looking for Kyra and Gabriel. I was so worried that the treatment would be so different. But at the same time, I believe that we had to do it differently. We had to, I guess, explore new ways of telling us that part of the story. So I would still do it the same thing again, over and over again. But that's, I could not predict how you guys will react. So I was really a big sigh of relief when you said, you liked it.
And I was happy to see it. You guys flipped the script on us, and it was nice. The fact that it was you were the director of it. I was like, yes, something different, but it's crazy at the same time because I never in watching the show I would have expected that. So, and I love that. Please keep on supporting me.
Well, I was surprised when June came to me and said, we've got an episode 13.5 and I think you should direct it. I'm like, why should I direct it? No, because Ivan has to start working on Pearl Next Door. And it's also very different thematically from the rest of Game Boys. It has to be a different director. I said, can there be somebody else? And June pointed out, look, it's only a few of us within the team. To bring in somebody new, to learn this all over again, it's just going to be too much. So it has to be one of us, and it cannot be me. Said June, because I have to supervise the whole thing. And, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'm always up for a challenge. Okay, fine, sure. And then I messaged him and said, God, the amount of effort that you put in this thing, how did you do it? I mean, I cannot do what you're doing. And I told him I cannot. So I'm going to do things a bit differently because that's what I think I can do. Right? But yeah, props to Ivan. It's not easy to replicate what he did.
Yes, Ivan Andrew Piao. We all love him. And also kind of low-key, scream at him every single episode.
Yeah, I know what it's like now.
So I don't even know, but that was amazing. I will say the concept, the darkness of it all, I think, what attracted me to it a little bit, because again, it was something different. So
It's wrong for us to rest on our laurels, I guess.
yes,
Assuming that you guys are still gonna be there. We hope you guys are still gonna be there when
I'm waiting for the
season
long
2 is
haul.
out. Yeah, we hope so. But we can't assume that, right? I mean,
Right,
there might be other things going on. There might be
right.
something that's all the craze by then.
Mhm,
So we said our best bet is always to tell the story that we feel is going to be the most engaging, and it's going to be the most original, and it's going to hold the attention of people more, rather than dissect what it is in season 1 that you liked and this did not like. We're not all about that. We're about telling good stories and
mhm,
telling it well.
mhm,
So that allowed, I think, and I hope that allowed Ash to throw half of the pressure out the window
mhm.
by trying to think of, what do fans want, what do fans expect from season 2. I said, that's not what we're about. Just
Exactly.
where will the story take Cairo and Gabriel, and then we go from there, right? And
Mhm,
I hope that they like it, whoever is still around. I hope they like it so much that lightning does strike again, and the word does spread again.
mhm.
And don't worry, because this time we're not starting from scratch. So I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Because we were starting from zero the first time around, and we
Mhm.
got here. So I said, I'm sure we will be able to tell a good story. I still believe that we've got the foundation of a very long story. I mean, I said this, I think, in an interview earlier. I can see them growing old, and this going on for years and years. And maybe it's not every year, maybe it's every 5 years, I don't know.
Mhm.
But I don't want to give up on it, because I think we built something very strong, and I like it that Cairo and Gabriel will eventually mature, right, and have different problems and different concerns. And I think we've got the right actors for it too, because
Okay.
as they mature, I mean, their performances can just go from wow to a bigger wow, I guess.
I'd say so because we've seen what they've brought to the table with these two characters, and especially I think with episode 7 and episode 8 with Elijah and all the emotion involved, and even with Kahoy while he was playing Gav. It's crazy. So again, major props to both actors for what they brought to the table, and you guys bringing that out of them as well too is it was something to witness. Now let me bring it out to this. With the rise of Pinoy BLs after Gameboys, and a lot of shows are now being released. As a fan and also as a reactor, I've experienced a lot of stuff with all these different shows so far since Gameboys, and I would say that there's maybe a lot of like, not saying comparisons, not saying anything like that, but there is a difference. So I think right now, I think there's more so people that are trying to have some form of togetherness, some form of equality, being that we are all out of the same country. You're all technically trying to strive for the same thing. And that really did inspire me. So I am trying my hardest to make this a thing, like this BL con situation, where it's a celebration of all Pinoy BLs and all the love that you guys are putting towards the table and taking our stories back, basically, in the LGBTQ community. Do you think it could be possible for everyone for that to be a thing in the near future?
Oh, definitely. Because the Philippines is actually it's a small industry. We know each other, especially the producers, because there are not many of us producers, right? So, I am in touch with a few of them. I do know them. Um, it's just a question of when and how, I
Mhm,
think, and if by that point we are all still working on BL projects. Because after this, I think everybody will do something else, and then maybe some will probably be more successful than others, would want to do a season 2.
mhm,
Others might actually start something else completely.
mhm,
So it depends on the timing, but I'd say yeah. I think it's a good thing. I think it's great that BL becomes a more, I guess, recognized genre.
mhm.
But at the same time, I hope it is a convention that I guess broadens the horizons of BL too, because we do want a lot of non-BL audiences watching this and sort of blur the lines a bit so that people just say that I'm not into BL, I didn't watch, Game Boys or Hello Stranger or something. No, people will just say, I watched Hello Stranger and I was surprised that it's BL, right? I hope it's more like that. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, let's go for it. But it's just the challenge. I think is what the goal is, rather not just putting everybody together in the same virtual room, but
Mhm.
what is it that we want to achieve when we're all together?
Hmm. If I had to put something towards you about the idea, I think it's, especially being that it's something that I would love to do for maybe Pride Month next year. Hopefully everything calms down with the pandemic. Just like I said, a celebration of all things BL, GL, in between, whatever. And
Yeah.
just that this is us. We are here. We're not going anywhere. And the
Yep.
fact that you guys are taking I'm not saying the opportunity really, more so just putting it out there to everyone that this is what it is, and
Mhm.
not trying to silence us. It to me it's a good thing, and it's about time that it's being spoken up about, and hopefully people can come to accept it. And it's a lot of love. There's no negatives. There's none of that. So I think the
Mhm.
more we become more comfortable with the idea, the better off we'll all be as human beings. And I think it can happen, being that with all the rave reviews of every single show that's been released and the positive feedback we're all that you guys are getting from and us reactors showing nothing but love. Granted, a lot of the shows that are out does have its own negatives towards them, but I think it's not even about that really. It's just the common goal of each show, uh,
Mm.
what it is. So that's kind of why I wanted to put that forward and see what could happen. And so far, I
But
think it's going great, you know. So,
yeah, I mean, and Pride Month, yeah, definitely. The
mhm.
irony is actually as Idea First, we've always wanted to be part of a Pride Month celebration, but for some reason or another, we never got to.
Huh? Is
It's
that?
weird. It's weird. I mean, we've always wanted to, like, okay, we'll have a float and all of that, but no, we never got to that point. There's always some project going on during the Pride Month that prevents us from participating in a big way.
So then maybe this
So maybe
connection.
this is it.
I think it'll be amazing, not just for you guys, but also for the fans. I think
Mm.
they will gladly, I feel like, show up in the droves for this. Like everybody
I
would just.
hope so.
I think so. As if it happens to be virtual or if it is in person. I hope it's in person.
I hope it's in person. I mean,
Right?
it's a good excuse for you to come here.
Exactly. So
If not Pride Month, when?
the idea of meeting everyone has always been exciting to me because chatting with you guys, I don't know if we've actually said it. It's wild. I never thought we'd be able to meet you guys and have a conversation and laugh and stuff like that. So being, because again, we came from Thai series, so we never thought that it would be a thing that would happen. But I think with all the positives and all the love that y'all have been showing to us and me to you guys, it made it happen. So that's probably why, to be honest with you.
You guys are so easy to talk to. I can't imagine it not happening.
I know, right? Given everything that's gone on, I know I've asked, like, how are you in regards to all the accolades, everything with Game Boys and stuff like that. Is there anything that you wanted to know coming from a reactor standpoint?
I've always been amazed at how you guys do your reaction videos and the speed by which you do it and the amount of effort that it takes, considering that you guys have day jobs.
Yes.
I mean, us, this is what we do, right? I
Yeah.
mean, but you guys have to work to go to, and I can only picture how much edit time it takes you. And then I realized, I noticed that by around episode 4 or 5, there was this mad race of everybody trying to put out a reaction video within the first 24 hours. I'm going like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just madness. Like,
Yeah.
how quickly did these guys put this together?
Oh my gosh. I can't, well, I mean, I can't really speak for everybody. And I think the fastest one out of all of us, I think, is probably Dion. He has his videos up in like nothing.
I think Dion and Jordy, I think, are one of the first
Yeah,
few.
Jordy, because
They'll always be up.
yeah, Jordy also works as well. So do I. So when I was in my way trying to figure out how I was going to do it all as well too, because I'm not home. I physically leave my house to go to work, and because it was on a Friday, I feel like it would be easier for me just to get home, film it. You guys would be getting up around that time. You can see it when you wake up, and yeah, it's not a competition in any means at all.
No. I don't think it was. I never actually felt it was a competition. It was just like, oh, let's get it out there as quickly as possible. It's like everybody was challenging themselves to,
Yeah.
to put up a reaction video like within the first 48 hours of the show. And it's mad. And honestly, when we moved to Sunday, that was a consideration. Go like, do they have enough time?
You guys have no idea how happy I was. I was like, it's on a Sunday. I'm at home. I can get the premiere finally. I always miss it, and everyone would get a chance to like do it. I'm like, oh man, I gotta go to work.
we do like our Sunday slot, to be honest. We miss the Friday. We do miss the Friday. But when we moved to Sunday, first, of course, it bought us 2 more days to put the show together. But at the same time, everybody was a bit more relaxed on the Sunday night. We noticed that it's not about like trending or anything, but the number of tweets. We were always trending number 1. But the number of tweets on a Sunday like doubled. Like we were hitting huge numbers on Sunday night. So we said, okay, let's stick to Sunday night, maybe. But I must say, there's something we are a bit precious about Friday. So when other BL series started taking over the Friday time, we're like, oh, I miss that. That used to be our playground. But to be fair, like one of the conversations I did have with the Hello Stranger producer is that he did ask, are you sticking to Friday? And I said, we'll try to. Good, because we just want to make sure that we don't hit each other. And I'm saying that, yeah, when are you launching? Oh, you launch on a Wednesday. Okay, I'll just make sure we do not. If something does happen, we're not going to launch on a Wednesday, just to make sure that day is yours. So it was kind of an informal thing. We did not like plan a calendar, but everybody started, okay, Hello Stranger is on a Wednesday, Gameboys is on a Friday, what day is available? And then they started moving on Saturday, but in different times so that they don't hit each other. And I quite like that. With the producers of the BL series, because in network like everybody was going like, oh, where's the number 1 show? We try to attack that. Right, and we time it at the same time, right? So this one, everybody was just naturally avoiding each other.
I've said to you several times, I appreciate the fact that you guys are willing to chat with us and get to know us a little bit more with all the reactors meets that we've done, and also the reactors meet that you guys have done. You guys have inspired me to do these myself. And if it wasn't for that first one, I don't know if I would have actually been doing things like this. Because if I had to choose one company to work with, it would be IdeaFirst, being what you guys stand for and what I feel like in my head, if I had to bring something to the table, I feel like you guys would take it on side. Because there's a lot of ideal BLs that I feel like everybody wants, but we don't know if we're actually going to get it, because it's the same type of criteria we've seen in every single BL show that we've seen so far, whereas it's the same typical look, same typical person. But if I were to make one of these, I would want to see someone like me being represented on screen. So things like that. And I feel like with your company, I think it would be something you guys would be interested in doing as well too. So
definitely. And you guys are part of the IdeaFirst family, to be, I don't just say that as lip service, because it's your ideas. And you saw already that there are some fans that I reached out to, and they started working on videos for us already. And I like it. I like that I see all of this talent out there, and I get to work with new people, and I get to, I guess, be part of their growth. And as you said, you expanded your, I guess, the kind of shows that you do because of what happened with Gameboys. And I hope we allow that to happen to a lot of other people, whether reactors or fans on Twitter, the guys and the girls who make fan art. I hope that they do expand their craft because I think that's the whole point of this, is that we inspire each other to fly higher.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And with all the special videos that people have asked me to be a part of, I didn't know if y'all would have even seen those, but the fact that they were willing to put in the time to say thank you in the best way possible,
Oh
I feel
yes,
like, has
It-
been
it- those
amazing.
videos make us cry.
Oh.
And I must say, I will admit, it's not just me. There are some, when you're feeling down, you kind of look back at these
Mhm.
videos and you start feeling, okay, yes, you're on the right track. It is worth it. It is worth it, what we're doing. And God, I really do appreciate the people who produce those, and you guys who so patiently participated in so many of those.
Mhm.
Because I can imagine how many people reached out to you. It's like, oh, can you say thank you to Gameboys, like for the nth time, right? In a slightly different way, with a
Yes.
slightly different background, with another outfit.
Mhm.
But you guys did it so willingly, and that's why. I mean, God, thank you.
Because we love the show. And like I said, I don't think there's been a show like this. Even with, like, if I were to mention small things, with the thing, I think the biggest thing for me anyway was the mention of the word husband and husband when when Gav and Kakoi were talking about their future. You don't get that in other shows. You either hear them say husband and wife. So that was a big thing for me. And just, being 100% upfront about the whole idea of falling for someone online straight off the bat. Like, you don't see that. So it was cool, and y'all have bricked the mold. I feel like with a lot of BL series that we've seen, and you've heard that before. I've said that to you before, and it's a sight to see.
Thank you.
I hope.
It helped. It helped that Ash knows BL back to front, but at the same time, the rest of us don't.
Mm,
So Ash is able to put the right, I guess, elements in, and we were able to inject the elements that we felt was necessary, not necessarily following any trope,
mhm.
but like, okay, the story kind of needs this, and so it became a healthy mix, and that's why it evolved into, I guess, a different form of BL. I've heard people say that.
Mhm.
So because essentially it is a story, it is a love story, with very complex characters, innately complex characters.
Hmm. Yes, and he's done a fantastic job writing this whole thing. I would say curator behind it, really, and just such a good job. I'm so excited, and even getting a chance to even speak to Ash was amazing for me as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Just want to pick his
Mhm.
brain on what other things you got going on in the back of your head. Um, there's supposed to be a movie coming out for
Yeah.
Game Boy series. Now, with season 2, my head, I hope it all just ties into each other.
It might. It
I
might.
hope. I hope. If okay, this is. I hope this is not like a spoiler question. Any date as how soon can we physically see that movie come out?
You know what? This is, and I'll be upfront, I guess, with this one. We faced that dilemma. Do we do the movie first or do we do the series first? And the big question then was, okay, if we do the movie, then how long will it take us to do the movie, and when do we do the series? And
Mhm.
at the same time, like, where do we put out the movie? Like, because the platform is obviously going to be different. We need the cinemas, or we don't need the cinemas. We go to a streaming platform, and is the streaming platform going to be accessible to all? And we could not answer that. So June and I made the decision. It has to be the series first. It has to be season 2 first,
Mhm.
because season 2, at least we know that YouTube is there. The people who are waiting for it, the people who want to see it, will be able to see it on a platform that they have access to,
Mhm.
right? And then that hopefully will buy us enough time to have a release strategy for the movie that, again, you guys, everybody can have access to it. So timing wise, I mean, season 2, we already said that it's probably going to be the first few months of the year, and then after, everybody again does their own thing for a while, and then we regroup again for the movie. So the movie would probably be in the middle part of the year. It takes a lot longer to make one. So that's just the production, and then we don't know when we will release it and how at this point. Huh? So yeah, that's the reason why the season 2 is coming before the movie. We
Okay.
also feel that the story can expand a lot more after we've done season 2
Yeah.
going into the movie.
hmm That was my thought as well in the back of my head because from like a low key storyteller, I feel like it would be smarter to do the series first and then the movie because now with the introduction of new characters, you can play with them a little bit, and now when the movie comes out, they can all just convert. That to
Yeah.
me is amazing. Being that with Pearls Next Door, Game Boys 2 with the new characters, just like an amazing thing.
Yes, you never know. You never know where that's gonna go.
I don't know. I think I have almost asked every single question. Not every single. There's so much. There's so many. I'm not trying to put too much on you as well when it comes to these questions.
This doesn't have to be the last. There can be other opportunities.
Yes, I hope. I really do hope.
I like how quickly this happened. I like how you just jumped in and said, hey, can we chat? And then I said, hey, I'm free. Like I know we have a 12-hour time difference, but
I low-key thought you would have said no, but I was like, just try.
No,
See what happens.
no, just ask. Yeah, and then you got me at the right time.
Okay, well, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. But yes, like I said, thank you so much for being here with me. Gameboys has been a journey, and I can't wait to see what else is coming soon for you guys. And hopefully we get a chance to see it all. Being that you guys are all the way in the Philippines, I'm all the way here in the US. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
Yeah. There's a lot of things in the pipeline. I mean, I already said this is naturally there will be other stuff that we're all doing, but at one point or another, all our paths will converge again for Game Boy Season 2, and I think that's how it's gonna be for hopefully years to come, where people get to do other stuff, and then hey, the timing is right. Let's all come back together. We've got another story to tell. Right. So yeah, it's gonna be a long journey for us, and I hope we all grow together.
Again, it's just nothing but thanks across the board from me, and being able to react to the show, being a part of the Penalica music video with everyone, and also
I love that, by the way.
Did you?
Say again, thank you, because I mean that was my light bulb moment early on in the series. I'm going like, yeah, let's do a video with all of the actors, and she was going like, that's crazy. How do you organize that? I mean, we figure it out. We just figure it out. And then the production team was going like, as we're making the episodes, you want us to edit a music video where the sources will be from different places. Yeah, we figure out how to do that, but it's worth doing. So when you guys started saying yes and started sending your footage, and I must say, a lot of you guys had enough footage to have your own video. It just blew us away, and I was so thankful because that made us feel like very early on. That's just made us feel like a family.
Yeah, we were excited. I was me, Jordy, and Chelsea were going back and forth like, we can't believe we're getting to be a part of this. Oh my god. So yeah, we were very excited over here, I promise. So again, I'm very just thankful that you guys even wanted to include us in that. So again, all that kickstarted a lot for a bunch of us. So nothing but thanks in response. But again, I thank you for coming here and chatting with me and discussing all things in my mind about Game Boys and other projects coming up. And I look forward to everything else coming. So thank you so much for being here with me. And like I said, with all of that, knowing all of this, it gives you more of an appreciation for all the episodes you guys have released, for all the stuff that are coming. It gets me more excited to know that there's some hardworking people behind this series, and I'm excited to see and like physically witness all of it. Hope you guys enjoyed this and us. But yeah, that's all. I think that's all I have right now. So who knows? One day we'll be able to get this gang again together, as y'all know. Y'all know me. But yes, thank you so much for coming and talking to me. Firstly, it's lovely to always see you. Hopefully, I see you soon. Who knows? There's so many.
We'll be in touch. We're always in touch on Twitter. You know that.
Yeah, so many things in my head. So thank you so much, love. I will see you soon. Hopefully.
See you soon. Stay safe.
Yes, you too, please. Alright, bye-bye!
Bye. Bye.
Suhon ako, manalo ka. Puso ko'y kunin mo na. Suhon ako, manalo ka. Puso ko'y kunin